Metabotz is this classic idea to get weebs and dweebs to try and fight each other over a series of competitions involving the makings of two giant IRL mechs, and then having them battle. The plan sounded awesome. Japan and America, Pacific rivals, and each a country notable for their love of the giant monsters and mechs. And so, dreamers, imaginers of the idea took to fascination to make fantasy a reality. Giant mech battle. Japan and the US, engineer companies from these two countries coming together to face off via the showmanship of their creation. It was so hype. It was gonna be awesome. It wasn't.
It looks like Iron Glory is standing up, while Karadas proceeds forward relentlessly. He wants to close the distance as quickly as possible. Look at that left arm come on. They're looking for the highlight reel knockout.
Closing in. And we got him. Firing!
Karadas utilizing his speed advantage. And it's over, just like that.
Recorded on September 30th and airing on October 17th. Metabotz took 2 weeks to edit down a poorly angled, poorly shot, and obviously scripted clusterfuck, which they aired on Twitch, a live streaming platform, with comments full of people calling him out on their bullshit. It couldn't just be two robots naturally fighting. No. They weren't allowed to be brutal, weren't allowed to be messy. These robots were equipped with MM-16 submachine guns that fired paintballs, which, against mounds of steel concrete, did nothing. So much of this was just a waste of time. So many of the things they added into this competition were all pointless. But of course, it wasn't allowed to be fun. Something gone all out like $500,000 were wasted on a competition of which ended because the bigger robot squeezed the smaller robot's hand. Yeah, that's how America won. Japan made a smaller robot that knocked their competitor over once. Then there was a tie. Then America just went out of nowhere because they squeezed the competitor's hand. What? It was so stupid. I mean, look at this. What's he doing? He's swinging a bar of steel around to block paintballs. Then he doesn't even use his weapon. What the fuck? But of course they couldn't go all out. Of course they couldn't have the robots seriously attack each other, because they decided it would be a good idea to have actual people inside the robots. That sounds cool in practice, but it limits down so many other things. It meant they couldn't do brutal shit, like use actual firepower, or aim for each Hulk's base, as that would be too dangerous for combatants to waver for. And they decided to have people inside the robots, with the American robot no less piloted by one of the co-founders of Metabotz. This a man who does not even know how to aim a gun. So yeah, real authentic fun. This was a competition in which case one of the controllers did not know what he was doing. At least the Japanese guy knew how to pilot his thing. This nerdo, not so much. But let's get on to the biggest problem already.
Taking it down systematically.
Oh my God,
they're coming our way.
I
what are you worried about? You're the robotics expert.
That's why I'm scared. I think
What are you talking about? Can he get the finish right here?
Oh my God.
Wow!
We're getting close, man.
This is crazy.
No, I don't.
Well,
no.
what?
I think
Hold
no, we're
Get the f out of here!
This shit was scripted. Metabotz is fucking WWE of robot fights. It's an entertainment media attention grab that hypes up its own product with this furloinment of amazement and fornification of grit, action, and combat. And then, guess what? It fails to deliver. It enacts fallacies, ridiculousnesses that surge unbelievability and depression. I love tiny mech fights. I love their naturalness, how the inventors need to make something effective and amazing in order to win, and that in itself motivates them to try even harder to make something brilliant. Scripted shit limits necessity, because it doesn't matter what you make now. It doesn't matter how hard you try to make your product beautiful, because if the match says you're to win, you win. And if the match says you're to lose, you lose. There's no means of motivation to that. And so, the spectacle became that of two untested products lost of their potential, all in order to fuel a script, to fume a narrative, and kick reality's excitement to the curve. I was looking so much to this. I was so fucking hyped, because I love natural mech fights. The ones with the tiny mechs, or with robots that run on wheels. I fucking watch every round of these competitions, because in every single one of them, there's always always that one unbelievable moment in these fights in which something happens, that something amazing occurs, that instills the room, that silences the audience, and paves way a spectacle better than anything on TV or the movies, because they are so fucking hype. But it was all fake. It was all taken away from the gloriousness it could have been. But that's not to say scripting itself is awful. It just means that giant robot fights are not the thing to do it on, especially if such a thing has never been professionally done before. WWE, though fake, knows how to coordinate action, how to keep hype, and most of all, entertainment going, even though it's fake, even though everybody knows that. You still watch it, not because it's reality, not because it's people really getting hurt, but because the actors can still make it brutal, can still generate shock and awe to an audience. It doesn't disappoint, because the producers know how to make the fights feel real. They know what they're doing. Metabotz did not know what they were doing. They took an idea never professionally done before, and decided to control it before knowing precisely how awful it would work, how it would look, how it would disappoint their fans. And when the dust did settle, when the coast was cleared, the creators of this project stood before a rubble of unsatisfied fans, telling them how disappointed they were, myself included. And so, just watch the small robot fights. Take a look at this scene.
お前はもう死んでいる。何